Boa noite a todos que estão nos acompanhando aí no YouTube. Sejam todos bem-vindos à 10ª edição do Your Voice, o concurso cultural de discursos da cultura inglesa. Eu sou o João Aveiro, serei o apresentador da noite, e é um enorme prazer estar aqui com vocês nessa etapa tão importante da competição e celebrar, esse momento especial aqui com os nossos candidatos que apresentarão os discursos. Bom, criado em 2014, o Your Voice chega hoje à sua 10ª edição, com o objetivo de valorizar a comunicação oral, ajudando os estudantes da cultura inglesa a expressarem suas ideias com confiança e a prepararem-se para falar em público. É uma oportunidade incrível de pesquisa, troca cultural e crescimento, incentivando cada participante a se tornar um agente de transformação por meio do compartilhamento de suas ideias. Nesta edição, recebemos mais de 900 inscritos, 900 estudantes que aceitaram o desafio de se superar escrevendo um discurso autoral em inglês de um tema complexo. Todos os discursos precisam abordar o tema Echoes of Change, Confronting Climate Crisis, que em português seria algo como Ecos da Mudança, Enfrentando a Crise Climática. Na primeira fase do concurso, os participantes gravaram e enviaram seus discursos em vídeo, os quais foram avaliados por um júri com a difícil missão de selecionar apenas 128 para as semifinais. Ou seja, todos que chegaram até aqui já são grandes vencedores e, sem dúvida, evoluíram muito ao longo desse processo de preparação. E hoje vocês verão aqui alunos da cultura inglesa e de suas escolas parceiras também, dos estados de São Paulo, Santa Catarina, Bahia, Rio de Janeiro, Rio Grande do Sul, Distrito Federal, Goiás, Tocantins e Espírito Santo. E isso de todos os níveis de inglês, desde o básico, intermediário até o avançado. No Your Voice, os alunos são divididos em 8 categorias diferentes, de acordo com o nível de inglês de cada um. Cada candidato concorre somente, portanto, com aqueles inscritos na mesma categoria. Nesta sessão de agora, serão apresentados primeiro os candidatos da categoria 4 e, posteriormente, os candidatos da categoria 7. A apresentação das duas categorias acontecerão uma na sequência da outra e o resultado será anunciado de uma só vez ao término da sessão de hoje. As regras de duração e número de perguntas de cada uma dessas categorias varia de acordo com cada uma, mas eu vou repassando as regras com vocês conforme formos andando com a transmissão, ok? Bom, o evento de hoje é uma das 8 semifinais do concurso. O concurso possui semifinal A e semifinal B, sendo que a semifinal A acontecerá durante esta semana, de segunda a quinta, e a semifinal B acontecerá na próxima semana, de segunda a quinta também. De cada dia de evento, serão selecionados 3 participantes de cada categoria para a grande final, que vai ser realizada no dia 23 de novembro, no próximo mês, que é um sábado. Então, no próximo mês teremos essa grande final com todas as categorias juntas em um único dia. Ou seja, após o término da apresentação de hoje, serão selecionados 3 participantes da categoria 4 e 3 participantes da categoria 7. E eles já estarão com vagas garantidas na grande final do dia 23. E quem decidirá quais participantes seguirão na competição são os nossos jurados da noite. Então, temos aqui no backstage a Márcia, que é a nossa coordenadora acadêmica aqui da cultura inglesa, e o Cláudio, gerente da unidade Macaé, que estão já aqui no backstage. Eles entrarão em breve aqui, depois, para falar um pouco com os nossos candidatos após as apresentações, fazer as perguntas e tudo mais. E eles vão avaliar os discursos dos nossos candidatos e, no final, eles vão se reunir. Eu vou dar um intervalo para vocês e eles trarão o veredito das 2 categorias ainda hoje, tá? Então, hoje a gente já recebe os nomes dos finalistas. E ao término do evento, nós vamos anunciar esses 3 finalistas, como eu falei para vocês. E eles também, no final, vão se encontrar com os candidatos que foram aprovados para uma rápida devolutiva, apontando os principais pontos que podem ser aprimorados para a grande final, tá? Então, pedimos que, ao término do evento, os participantes cujos nomes forem anunciados como finalistas retornem para a sala do Google Meet, onde nos encontramos no início do evento, E quem não quiser ou não puder participar até o fim da transmissão, para receber essa devolutiva não tem problema, tá? É opcional, mas nesse caso perderá a oportunidade de receber, ok? Bom, então, antes de começarmos, vamos repassar algumas regras e informações importantes para todo mundo ficar fresco na cabeça. Vamos começar primeiro com o seguinte: dúvidas sobre o Your Voice, o evento. João, onde eu encontro as informações do evento, caso eu tenha alguma dúvida, enfim, no site do Your Voice. Então, o site é o nosso principal canal de comunicação com todos vocês. Todas as informações do evento estão lá. Nós temos a FAQ, os links das transmissões, as listas atualizadas também com os aprovados, tanto para a semifinal quanto para a final. Todas as informações atualizadas estão lá. Mas caso mesmo assim haja alguma dúvida, vocês podem nos contatar também através do e-mail que está lá no site, que teremos o maior prazer em respondê-los e ajudar a sanar essas dúvidas, certo? Então, canal oficial de comunicação, site do Your Voice. Segundo ponto, né? Nós da organização do evento, os candidatos e candidatas estamos juntos dentro de uma plataforma virtual. E o evento está sendo transmitido para vocês através do YouTube. Então, interajam conosco. Tem o chat aí no YouTube. Então, façam a torcida de vocês. Fica aqui na direita, no chat. Então, é só vocês escreverem aqui. Só que fazemos um pedido que sejam apenas enviadas mensagens positivas. Vamos manter um clima positivo e acolhedor aqui para os nossos candidatos, para celebrar esse momento. Então, nada de mensagem ofensiva, algo que possa comprometer a competição, porque isso não combina com o Your Voice, tá? Então, vamos combinar dessa forma. Enquanto nós estávamos aqui com os candidatos no backstage, nós já realizamos um sorteio na frente deles para realizar a ordem da apresentação de hoje, tanto da categoria 4 quanto da categoria 7. Então, estamos colocando neste exato momento aqui no chat para vocês acompanharem qual será a sequência de apresentações da noite. Se a conexão de algum participante falhar ou cair durante a apresentação, nós seguiremos com as próximas apresentações. No entanto, enquanto o bloco de apresentações estiver em andamento, daremos novas oportunidades para que o participante restabeleça a conexão e retome a apresentação. A duração estipulada para a categoria 4, que é a que vamos iniciar aqui, é de 2 minutos para cada candidato. E há uma margem de tolerância também. Então, os candidatos dessa categoria precisam apresentar um discurso que dure entre 1 minuto e 30 segundos e 2 minutos e 30 segundos. Temos aqui uma timekeeper, que é a Vanessa, que controlará a duração de cada apresentação e fará soar um sinal como este aqui, para alertar o candidato sobre a duração do seu discurso. O sinal será tocado quando o candidato, primeiramente, atingir 1 minuto e 30, depois, quando atingir 2 minutos, e, por fim, caso o candidato atinja 2 minutos e 30 de discurso. Se o candidato terminar o seu discurso antes de 1 minuto e 30 ou depois de 2 minutos e 30, ele poderá ser penalizado. Após o término da apresentação, os candidatos respondem a perguntas e cada categoria possui uma regra específica quanto a isso. No caso da categoria 4, que será a primeira da noite, os candidatos responderão a 2 perguntas que serão feitas pelo nosso júri. Começaremos agora, então, com as apresentações da categoria 4, e na sequência teremos as apresentações da categoria 7, mas antes de iniciar a categoria 7, eu repasso com vocês as informações e as peculiaridades dessa categoria. Certo? Tudo certo, informações passadas, então bora começar, que tem bastante discurso bom para a gente ouvir hoje. Então, muito obrigado a todos pela audiência, obrigado aos candidatos, obrigado aos jurados aqui pela participação, que a gente tenha um excelente evento hoje. E seguindo a ordem de apresentação, gostaria de chamar a nossa primeira candidata da noite, da categoria 4, Maria Antonelli de Souza Ferreira. Maria, está por aí? A Maria ainda não entrou aqui na nossa plataforma virtual, tá? Então, vamos seguir com a próxima candidata da sequência e, posteriormente, chamaremos ela novamente para apresentar o seu discurso. Então, dando sequência à nossa segunda candidata, Ana Clara Andrade Pereira. Ana, já está por aí?
Já.
Opa, tudo bem, Ana? Ana, respira fundo, áudio funcionando. Fala um oi aí, para ver se...
Oi.
funcionando, então pode começar o seu discurso, Ana. Fique à vontade.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm going to talk about how the climate change affected wildlife and how we can help. First of all, what are those climate changes? They are the long-term transformations in the temperature and weather patterns. These changes may be natural, but since the 18th century, human actions have been the main cause of it, mainly to the burning of fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas, which produce the heat-trapping gases and increases the greenhouse effect. These changes have plenty of consequences. Oh wait, uh, wait, I forgot. Wait. No. But how can these changes affect the fauna? Imagine you lived your whole life in a very cold place, but suddenly the weather and temperature patterns start changing. It starts getting hotter. In response, lots of people will faint and even die because their bodies were not prepared for the drastic changes. And guess what? It is the same thing with animals and their habitats. That causes the extinction of species, the decrease of the biodiversity, such as bad life conditions, and even new diseases. With that said, you may be asking yourself, but how can we avoid all these problems? We can simply avoid doing actions that contribute for the drastic climate changes. We can use reusable energy, ride a bike, use a public transport, and even recycle. These are some actions that help with the decrease of it. Also, the creation of parks and reserves that preserve the nature are very helpful, like the Yellowstone Park in USA, a very famous park that actually preserves the nature. And I'm going to leave you guys a question so you can guys can just think about it. Shouldn't we have more reserves and parks that actually preserve the nature? And that's how I end my speech. Thank you so much for listening, and I am willing to hear your guys' questions.
Muito obrigado, Ana, pelo seu discurso. Agora vamos às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando pela nossa jurada Márcia.
Hi, Anna.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to hear your speech about that. One thing that called my attention, you mentioned Yosemite as an example of preservation. Where did you learn that?
I mentioned what? Sorry.
Yosemite Park.
Yosemite.
You mentioned a park
I
that...
mentioned the Yellowstone Park.
Oh, Yellowstone. All right. That's it then. Sorry.
It's okay.
So what did you learn about this park?
First, I am very passionate about animals and stuff, so I usually watch a lot of videos on YouTube about that. And one day I watched a video about the Yellowstone Park talking about the wolves and the animals and how can I say it? How they actually did something good for the place and stuff. Like I really like wolves, and I was watching specifically things about wolves in the park and how they did very good things for the park.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Hello, Anna.
Hi.
Thanks for your participation. Anna, in your opinion, how can people nowadays get ready, prepare themselves to face the climate changes?
I think we can try to make people conscious about it and try to talk more about it, because people don't actually listen. Sometimes they can listen to it but then forget. So I think we should try to pass the information in a way we can make people to actually care about it and prepare themselves so they can try to decrease, or if they don't manage to do it, we can try to make them feel more prepared for it. Like they can oh my god, wait, we can try to make them feel more conscious, like I said. And yeah, that's it. I'm
Okay,
too nervous, sorry.
never mind. Thank you so much.
It's okay.
Muito obrigado, Ana, pelo discurso, Márcia, Cláudio, pelas perguntas. E dando sequência às nossas apresentações da noite, gostaria de chamar a nossa próxima candidata, Manuela Carnoso. Manuela, está por aí?
Hello.
Hello, Manuela, estou ouvindo você. Então vamos lá, respira fundo e pode falar o seu discurso. Boa sorte.
Hello, I'm Manuela. I'm 13 years old, and as I said in my video, my dream is a better world for everyone. Did you know that nearly 1 million species of animals and plants could totally vanish in the coming decades? Climate change, with its rising temperatures, is destroying their habitats and depriving them of food. Pollution, especially the waste we throw away each day, makes the problem even worse. When we don't recycle, they're waste end up in landfills, releasing harmful gases that heat up the earth. Another important solution is to switch to clean energy. Imagine how much cleaner our air would be if more people used solar panels or wind turbines. We can now make a difference by taking small steps. Recycling, using reusable bags and bottles, switching to clean energy when we can, and planting trees. These simple actions help keep the planet clean and slow down global warming. If we all go to our family, friends, or even our neighbors to help, we can make this change happen. There's something else that can help: the media. Movies, TV shows, and social media posts teach people about climate change. They help us understand what's happening in all our planet and show us how we can help. But we have to be careful with fake news. For example, some fake stories say that climate change isn't real or that it's just a part of a natural cycle. But scientists all over the world have proven that human actions, pollution for example, is making the earth really warmer. That's why it's important to learn from trusted sources and share good information with the people we care about. If we all do small things but do them together, we can make a big difference. We have to protect our world. That's it.
Obrigado, Manuela, pelo discurso. Vamos então agora às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando pelo jurado Cláudio e posteriormente com a Márcia.
Hello, Manuela.
Hello.
Thanks for participating. Manuela, you mentioned something about the fossil fuels. You know,
Yes.
they are one of the causes of global warming, the climate crisis. In your opinion, what can nations do to reduce their dependency on that?
Well, I think that, like I said, clean energy is a good solution because they they produce less pollution compared to fossil fuels. For example, we can use solar panels and wind turbines because they are renewable and don't pollute our air, which helps a lot with global warming. And things that we can do in our day, not basically routine. It's like we can consider walking instead of using cars, cycling, taking public transport. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm not hearing you, sorry.
Sorry. Hello, Manuela. Thank you for your speech. You were talking about very small actions, small little attitudes that people can take in order to preserve the climate, you know. And my question to you is, do your friends at school, do they do something related to those small things, just like recycling, saving water? What is your opinion about you and your friends in your age?
Well, our school has some projects like recycling, using those papers that we use to metros that doesn't pollute our air. We can too organize cleanup days or tree planting events because they can inspire people our age to join it. When people in our community have come together for these actions, we can have a bigger impact, not just in our neighborhood or not just in our school, but in the whole area. I think that can help a lot.
Thank you.
Muito obrigado, jurados, pelas perguntas, Manuela pelo discurso. E agora vamos à nossa próxima candidata. Gostaria de chamar ao palco do Your Voice nossa próxima candidata, Nicole Dias. Nicole, está por aí?
Hello, sim.
Hello, Nicole, estamos te ouvindo. Respira fundo e boa sorte, bom discurso.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Nicole, and today I will talk about how we pollute our planet and how we can stop to do this. So let's go. Unfortunately, we have a lot of problems in the world. Today, we humans pollute the world a lot with small and big actions. We think it's nothing, but we forget that we live in the same world that we're polluting. Knowing what pollution is, we need to think about our actions so that we don't pollute our air, nature, and seas, preserving and building a better place. It's not hard to build a better place, but we make it hard when we don't work together to do this. We pollute the earth by producing a lot of plastic, throwing trash on the ground, polluting rivers, lakes, and oceans, smoking, among us other things. Since we're kids, we learn about the preservation of the environment, how we can recycle and take care of our planet and live lives. So I have a question for us. Why don't we put this in practice? Think about it. It's easier to throw trash in the right place, not pollute rivers, oceans, and lakes, and recycle as much as you can. So be conscious. Think about yourself, those around you, and the planet you live on. This way, you are taking care of your healthy and the healthy of other people. Change your actions and preserve our planet to create a better home for us. I believe that we can see the echoes of change, and it's that.
Muito bem, obrigado, Nicole, pelo discurso. Vamos então às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando pela Márcia.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
It was interesting when you mentioned that people sometimes they could do better if they worked together. If you could, how would you encourage people to work together to preserve climate and to preserve the ambient, the environment?
I believe that I could make this talking with people that, like, my friend drinks something and he dropped this in the ground. I can say for him to throw this on the trash. It's like simple things that we do on the day, and things that we can do, but we just don't do. I believe that it's simple things.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Nicole, hello.
Hello.
Thanks for your speech. Nicole, as you mentioned some reasons, some suggestions on how we should work to deal with the question of climate change. And then you mentioned, why don't you put this into practice? In your opinion, why is it so hard to put this into practice as, human beings?
I think it's hard for us because we made this, like, we practice so much this, and it's like habit on our days, and this is the problem, that we made this be a habit of our day, and I think it's for that. This is one of the it's one of the things that we do that it's so hard.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muito obrigado, Nicole. Obrigado aos jurados pelas perguntas. E, dando sequência aqui às nossas apresentações da noite, agora o discurso de Sophia Rodrigues Mota.
Hello.
Hello, Sophia. Então vamos lá, respira fundo e o palco do Your Voice é seu. Bom discurso.
Hi, my name is Sophia Rodrigues. I'm 14 years old and I'm studying on Colégio Monsenhor Alexandre. Here, I'm gonna talk about the global warming. You probably heard these words recently, and that's because our situation is getting really serious. But what global warming actually is? Global warming is about standard temperatures that have really drastic transformations. That's because even in the winter, we are feeling warm temperatures and being the cause too of several fires here in Brazil. So, what can we do to get out of these situations? Well, when we were kids, everyone seems to be much more interested about teaching us how to deal with the global warming. They teach us how to recycle and reduce the water waste. But when we grow up, we stopped caring. I think that we have to care like kids again, with the enthusiasm of them, doing the things that we normal are supposed to do, recycling, planting trees, and not throwing the trash in anyway. Um, I think we all think the situation or the solution from this problem have to be complex, but we don't have time and enough money to solve it. So with the simple solutions, we can get over these situations. We just have to be more enthusiasm and have more energy to deal with that. I think that the world and our home lives can be much easier and more enjoyable. Thank you.
Obrigado, Sofia, pelo discurso. Vamos então às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando com o Cláudio.
Hello, Sophia. Thank you for your
Hi.
speech. Sophia, you are very young. So my question is, in your opinion, what's the role of young people like you in the issue of climate change?
I think that people from my age don't care so much like we are supposed to. The problem it's in our life every time, but in my opinion, I see every time in school. Everyone is not doing that about what the other people can think about us, like powering teenagers. If we don't throw the trash in any way, we are being so boring and not being cool like the other kids.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
You mentioned in your speech that adults they lose kind of this enthusiasm about preserving the environment and recycling things and all. Why do you think adults, as you mentioned, lose this enthusiasm?
I think it's about the work that they are having. They just have other priorities, like home life with kids, their work, and they just stop thinking about all the world, their environment, and the global warming.
Okay, thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Obrigado, Sofia. Obrigado aos jurados. E agora o nosso próximo candidato vem ao palco do Your Voice, Thiago Pessoa de Araújo Barbosa. Olá, Thiago.
Oi, hello.
Está ouvindo? O seu áudio está funcionando também. Então, vamos lá. Respira fundo e pode começar o seu discurso. Boa sorte.
Hello, my name is Thiago Pessoa de Araújo Barbosa. I'm 11 years old, and today I will talk about the climate change, its problems and solutions. It's so important to talk about the subject because the climate change is making serious problems in the world. The first problem is the global warming. Most of the time, humans are mostly responsible for the global warming. With small actions, you can help to reduce the effects of the global warming. For example, use clean energy, save energy at home, and do the 3 R's: reduce, recycle, and reuse. Some scientists argue that the desertification is also a problem. We need to pay attention in it because a lot of plants and animals are dying or losing their house. We can prefer the ecological agriculture, plant trees, and the kids need to learn environmental education. These are things we can do to help reduce the desertification. Another problem is the atmospheric pollution. It is a problem related to the emission of gases into the atmosphere, mainly in the big cities, by the cars and the factories. To help solving this problem, we can prefer walk, ride a bike, or use public transport to cars. And we need to preserve the natural forests. One last problem is the sea level rise. Most of the time, humans are mostly responsible. Our United Nations announced a report about the sea level rise. This increase of level can cause a lot of other problems for many cities in the world, including Rio de Janeiro. The governments need to reduce the emission of greenhouse effects and reduce the using of fossil fuels. In my view, kids can do something to help saving the planet. For example, don't dirty the beaches, don't waste water, discard trash of the correct form, and with these small actions, we can help combat the climate change. It's this.
Obrigado, Thiago. Agora vamos às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando com a Márcia.
Hi, Thiago.
Hi.
Thank you for your speech. When you were preparing your speech, probably you had to research about something that you didn't know, right?
Yes.
Can you mention things that you discovered when you were researching about this need to preserve the environment?
So I discovered a lot of things, but I discovered more things we can do to help the planet, because a lot of people don't are dirt in the beach, dirt in the seas, and the planet is our house, yes, and we need to preserve it. I think this is the biggest thing I learned when I was searching about my text.
Thank you, Thiago.
Thank you.
Hello, Thiago.
Hello.
Thiago, in your opinion, who is responsible for tackling the issue of climate changes and global warming? The government, people in general, or corporations, companies?
So I don't think it's. I think it's people and people in general and the government, because the people need to need to stop throwing trash, need to stop making forest fires, but the government can do something to stop this, but they are doing nothing. So I think it's this: the people in general and the governments are
Okay. All right.
helping.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Obrigado, Thiago, aos jurados também pelas perguntas. E dando sequência às nossas apresentações, gostaria de chamar ao palco do Your Voice Louisa Garcia Soares.
Hello.
Hello, Luísa. Preparada?
Yes.
Então, respira fundo, boa sorte e pode começar o seu discurso.
Hello, guys. My name is Louisa. I am 12 years old. I live in Cachoeira Submitting, and I might flow up. I've had some questions for some time now. Why is it so hot? Why is the earth so hot? Where is the winter that seemed to have disappeared? And the rain? Why is it raining less and less? Have you also noticed this change in climate in recent years? I was curious and excited to research why the weather was so stable, why we can't perceive the seasons anymore, why we live in a eternal summer. I was shocked and saddened by my findings, but I also learned many things that, if we put into practice, we can change the course of this climate crisis and save our planet. Do you want to know what I learned? Come on, I will share it with you. Let's talk about the great villain of the world climate crisis, global warming, which is the increase in the planet's average temperature and results in the greenhouse effect. The best known greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide. Its emission covers the Earth, trapping the sun's heat. This leads to global warming and climate change. The world is now warming faster than at any other time in recorded history. The high concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere results in air pollution, acid rain, melting ice caps, and rising sea levels, damaging crops and fisheries. I keep searching and discover that individual changes can change the course of this tragedy. We must work with effort and dedication, just like ants do towards the ants hill. Small actions together generate big changes. Global warming affects everyone, and therefore it is important to take action to avoid consequences of climate change. Change. But how can we help solve the climate problem? It's simple. Use alternative renewable energy sources, such as wind or solar energy. Invest in reforestation, as vegetation absorbs CO2. Reduce your consumption of beef, as agriculture is one of the biggest sources of gas emissions in Brazil, not only because of the associated deforestation. Let's all form our army of little ants to quickly achieve a low carbon world and end global warming.
Obrigado, Luísa, pelo discurso. Agora vamos às perguntas dos jurados, começando pelo Cláudio.
Hello, Louisa.
Hello.
Louisa, you gave us lots of suggestions on how to help the planet, concerning this issue of climate changes. But my question is, what would be more effective from these actions? The ones related to technology innovation, or the ones related to change in our lifestyles?
I think it's the change in the lifestyles because the individual changes is part of everyone in the world. Everyone wants to do something to avoid climate change. Technology too, technology help, but in general, it's part of individual changes. Individual life change, it works to avoid the climate change and save the planet.
Thank you.
Hi, Louisa.
Hi.
So, my question is a continuation of what Claudio has just asked. Well, you mentioned very simple attitude could change the world. There are others that they are more difficult, but there are many ones that are very simple. In your opinion, why don't people take those attitudes, the attitudes to save the planet? Why is it so hard for them to change their attitude?
Because we are so accustomed to our lifestyle, like use fossil fuels, like throw the trash in the floor. It's something it happens every day, and we are accustomed with this. And how I say, individual changes can change the course of this tragedy. It parts of everyone in the world.
Thank you, Luisa.
Thanks.
Muito obrigado, Luísa, pelo discurso. E agora vamos ao nosso próximo candidato. Gostaria de chamar ao palco do Your Voice Lucas Monteiro.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Lucas. Tá ouvindo?
Hello.
Só testar o seu áudio, tudo funcionando certo, então pode começar o seu discurso. Boa sorte.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lucas. I'm from Brasilia and I have 11 years old. Today, I'm going to talk about a very important issue, which is global warming. According to the United Nations, last year was the hottest year ever recorded, and that is such a big deal because it can make icebergs melt and cause sea levels to rise. Another important issue that contributes with global warming is bushfires. During the dry season, we need to be vigilant about bushfires because this year the combination of drought, super hot weather, and deforestation are making the problem bigger. One way to avoid it is whenever you see a little flame, you need to call the firefighters right away. Bushfires are new, but however, they have exceeded. and not only in Brazil, but also in places like Australia, Portugal, and Canada. Um, in my hometown, Brasilia, people have been told to do not practice outdoor activities because of the smoke. The smoke is causing diseases and killing animals and destroying farms. Some solutions include not setting fire near vegetations or near inflammable places. And in in conclusion, whenever you're cooking your Sunday barbecue, you always need to be aware because your delicious lunch can turn into a big fire. Thanks for listening.
Obrigado, Lucas, pelo discurso. Agora vamos às perguntas dos jurados, começando com a Márcia.
Hi, Lucas.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the barbecue place. But in fact, I'd like to ask you, if you could, what would you do in fact? Let's suppose you are the government. What would you do in fact to bring one solution among the many others you mentioned, one of the solutions to make it really work in the country?
So I think a good a good way to do that is supervisionize the roads, especially on the streets, because sometimes like a cigarette can cause a fire. So I think we can like invest on firefighters in some places that it doesn't have that much like structure that can gain fire easily.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you for your question.
Hello, Lucas.
Hello.
Lucas, you mentioned some of the problems we're having nowadays concerning the weather, like the level of the seas, the hot weather, the smoke, okay? In your opinion, how can communities prepare to deal with this?
That's a good question. I think we can stop. How do I say? Stop devastating the forest because it really it really makes a difference. And I think we need we need to make the difference now because to undo the mistake that the past generations have done.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Muito obrigado, Lucas, pelo seu discurso. Obrigado aos jurados também. E agora vamos à nossa última candidata da categoria 4. Gostaria de chamar ao palco do Your Voice, Maria Antonelli Ferreira. Hello, Maria, está ouvindo?
Hello. Yes, I'm hearing.
Ok, so pode começar o seu discurso. Boa sorte.
Well, hello, my name is Maria Antonelli and I'm from Colatina. I want to apologize first for being late in the start, but now I am here. And today I will talk about the echoes of changes facing climate crisis. Well, what is it? It's a change that happens in temperature, atmospheric pressure, rainfall, and others. It can be caused by humans, but also by nature, but mostly by humans, causing 99% of it. Well, but you may ask me how the humans can cause it. Well, by using cars, vehicles, aerosols, increasing industries, and producing carbon gas. When we produce carbon gas, it reaches the atmosphere. And when it reaches the atmosphere, how can I say it? It reaches the greenhouse effect. That is something that is responsible of keeping the Earth on a regular temperature for the leaf beans being for making possible for the living beings to survive on the planet. Well, and if the carbon gas on the atmosphere reaches its limit, it will cause the global warming. That is something that would cause a lot of damage on the humanity and, of course, to nature as well. But if we reduce the use of gasoline and even reduce the industries, of course, it will be how it would be better for us humans and the nature because it would avoid a lot of those damages and avoiding, of course, the glacier melting that it can be caused by the global warming and also avoid floods and much more. Well, that's it. Thank you.
Muito obrigado, Maria, pelo discurso. Agora vamos às perguntas dos jurados, começando com o Cláudio.
Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Maria, thank you for your speech. Maria, I'll ask you again. So you mentioned lots of problems you may have concerning the weather, the climate. The thing is, who do you think should take more responsibility on that? Or is it a kind of shared responsibility? Everybody should focus on trying to solve the problem.
Well, I didn't understand. Can you repeat, please?
Sure. Okay. So, who do you think should be the one to blame for all these problems we are having concerning the climate crisis? Okay. Or you think it's a kind of shared responsibility?
Well, it's a shared responsibility because the humanity, as including in general, caused this by, of course, by producing carbon gas. It's nature for us human to produce carbon gas, but the government, the humans, and everybody, it's blaming. It can, how can I say it? It can have the blame. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Maria. Thank you very much for your speech. I'd like to ask you about your attitude and your friends' attitude, your family's attitude, if they have anything that may contribute to this, to reduce these problems we're having with the climate.
Well, my attitude for first, I don't used to throw trash on the floor, or I I like to keep my, how can I say it, my limit. Okay, it's like I don't use a lot of water when I take a shower. I don't waste too many time on those things. My family as well. My friends, I don't know. I don't talk a lot to them about this because they don't really care about this, to be honest.
Thank you, Maria.
Obrigado, Maria, pelo discurso. Obrigado aos jurados também pelas perguntas. E finalizamos aqui a categoria 4. Parabéns a todos os participantes, né? Competição de altíssimo nível hoje aqui. Os jurados vão ter um trabalhão para decidir no backstage. Mas vamos dar sequência às nossas apresentações da noite. Então, daremos início agora às apresentações da categoria 7, e somente ao término dessas apresentações que o nosso júri sairá para a deliberação e então retornará com o resultado das duas categorias, ok? Então, sobre a categoria 7 agora, a duração estipulada para os discursos é de também 2 minutos, levando em conta a margem de tolerância. Então, assim como na categoria 4, os candidatos dessa categoria precisam apresentar um discurso que dure entre 1 minuto e 30 segundos e 2 minutos e 30 segundos. Nossa timekeeper Vanessa fará soar aquele aviso sonoro que vocês ouviram quando o candidato atingir 1 minuto e 30, posteriormente, quando atingir 2 minutos e, por fim, se ele atingir 2 minutos e 30 segundos. Após o término das apresentações, né, os candidatos da categoria 7 responderão a 2 perguntas. As perguntas podem ser feitas tanto pelo nosso júri, quanto pelos outros candidatos da categoria 7 que estão aqui no nosso backstage também. Então, vamos lá? Seguindo a ordem de apresentação do sorteio que fizemos aqui anteriormente, nossa primeira candidata da categoria 7 é Hanna Cristina Miranda. Hanna, está por aí?
Hello, good evening.
Hello, Ana, good evening. Estamos te ouvindo bem, então respira fundo e boa sorte.
Obrigada. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Countless films have depicted the end of the world in breathtaking ways. As a fan of dystopian movies, I've watched Earth be destroyed by meteors, aliens, but especially by human greed. Movies like The Day After Tomorrow, Mad Max, and Interstellar showed us a dangerous combination between global warming and environmental collapse, wiping out society. Yet, somehow, despite all these tales, it seems we are still stuck in Don't Look Up. But this is no Hollywood, guys, and there is no dramatic rescue coming. The truth is, we've already passed the point of no return. We are living in a climate dystopia right now. Take Brazil, for example. A recent photo taken in Liberdade, São Paulo, looks straight out a sci-fi movie. Thick black smoke covered the sun for days. This wasn't fiction, though. Fires, intentionally set, turned air quality to unsanitary levels across several states. It's a scene that could have been avoided if only we had listened to the ecologists. And not long ago, Brazil's southern state of Rio Grande do Sul faced one of its worst natural disasters. Experts have been warning that Amazon deforestation would disrupt the region's balance and lead to flooding. The result, entire neighborhoods underwater, families displaced, and wildlife annihilated. Despite all this, it seems that the forces of capitalism still succeed on erasing the urgency of climate crisis. However, palliative measures won't fix this, but only a collective commitment to real sustainable solutions. Initiatives like biofuels and eco-friendly business must work together, hand in hand. The time for change is now. We cannot afford to wait any longer. Thank you very much.
Obrigado, Hanna, pelo seu discurso. Vamos à pergunta do primeiro jurado. Cláudio, por favor.
Hello, Hannah.
Hello.
Hannah, thank you for your speech. You mentioned lots of the problems we had recently, concerning the weather, like flooding and stuff. My question for you is: do you think it's really possible to have the transition to a carbon neutral economy? And what would be the implications of that?
It's a very good question. Well, I think I have to hope so, right? I think capitalism is still concerned on making profit and not thinking about that. But I think that the more the climate crisis is getting worse, I think people will be forced to rethink their attitude. So yes, I think so.
Let's hope. Thank you.
Let's hope, yeah.
Vamos agora à segunda pergunta com a nossa jurada, Márcia.
Okay.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you for your speech. From the things you mentioned, apparently, capitalism and the greed, the human greed, are leading us to this catastrophe. Well, but as you have just said, probably we have to get aware, become aware of all that. So, in your opinion, what can we human beings do to become more aware of that and take attitude?
Okay. So we as citizens, right? I think. Okay. So I think, like I said, the more climate crisis getting worse, I think people are looking for to follow news and influencers about this stuff. So I think we are trying to understand what is happening and what is our accountancy about it. So I believe that we are changing our ways of life. For example, avoiding the use of plastic and all of this. I think we are already changing, but we have to give some kind of how can I say, not to ask, but to force government and big companies to account their blame about it.
Thank you, Hanna.
Thank you.
Muito obrigado, Hanna, pelo discurso. Obrigado aos jurados também pelas perguntas. Lembrando que as perguntas da categoria 7 também podem ser feitas pelos próprios candidatos que estão aqui no backstage. Então, se você, candidato, tiver alguma pergunta para alguma das outras apresentações, basta sinalizar aqui no nosso chat interno. À direita, onde está escrito 13 pessoas, podem clicar ali e sinalizar no chat que eu chamo vocês para a sequência de perguntas, ok? Bom, então, dando sequência às nossas apresentações, gostaria de chamar a nossa próxima candidata, a segunda da categoria 7, Regiane Nogueira Lopes. Regiane, está ouvindo?
Yes.
Yes, está ouvindo?
Hello.
Estamos te ouvindo também. Regiane, respira fundo e boa sorte, bom discurso.
Okay, today I'm talking about climatic cycles and wildfires, how global warming fuels the fires. Wildfires have a surge, with Brazil responsible for 6% of America's fires in 2024, according to INP, National Institute for Space Research. Wildfires have doubled 2 decades due to climate change and making forests more flammable, but actions remain lacking. Fires cause severe damage to the environment, health, economy, and biodiversity, releasing carbon and worsening global warming. If you don't action, what kind of world are you leaving for future generations? Fires destroy biodiversity, habits, soils, and increasing flood risks, disrupt ecosystem, and smoking affects your health, causing more breathing problems. They also damage infrastructures and agriculture and kill millions of animals. We must change in climate We must address climate change by cutting emissions, promoting sustainability, and upgrading infrastructures. The tools are available. What's stopping us from actions? The time to action is now. Easier duty to protect the planet and making sure we have a safe future. Thank you, guys.
Perfeito, obrigado, Regiane, pelo discurso. Vamos então à primeira pergunta com a nossa jurada Márcia.
Hi, Hiani. Thank you for your speech. One of your topics is very much concerned about deforestation, you know, and all the consequences of deforestation. And one of the things they say, those people that destroy forests, they say that they are doing that because they need to cater for food, right? They say we have to plant, we have to raise cattle to produce food. Well, in fact, this is not the best way, probably. But what do you think we could do to convince these people that this is not the best way? What is your opinion about that? What could you do?
Yeah, it is a challenge, but I think it's important to education the people and to show the importance to preserve the forest, to reduce the deforestation, and uh, help the planet to have a good economy, because when have deforestation is the soil is extremely poor. uh, I think it's
Thank you, Regiane.
Muito obrigado pela pergunta, Márcia. Agora vamos à segunda pergunta com o nosso jurado Cláudio.
Hello, Hiani.
Hello.
Hiani, you mentioned some of the problems we are facing. You gave some focus on the fires, the forest fires. But the thing is, what message could you give to those people who don't believe that the climate crisis is here? What can you say to those people who don't believe that this problem is here?
Can you explain a little more about your
Okay,
question? I
sure.
don't understand exactly.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So you mentioned some of the problems we're having. You gave focus on the forest fire, okay, that we had recently, across the country. My question is, what message could you give to those people, who don't believe that the climate changes, the climate crisis, is happening?
Oh, I think it's important to show the people the importance the planet, the health of the planet, uh, because the climate cycles, its generations to cutting emissions, the carbon, it's necessary to stop it, but it's necessary demonstrating this problem for the people, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Muito obrigado, Regiane, pelo discurso, obrigado aos jurados pelas perguntas. Dando sequência aqui às nossas apresentações, gostaria de chamar ao palco do Your Voice Julio Azuba.
Hello.
Hello, Julio, estamos te ouvindo, ok? Então, respira fundo e bora lá. Boa sorte.
Okay. Well, hello. My name is Julio Azuma, and I'm going to talk about the climate crisis. Well, the climate crisis is a financial time bomb. The costs of inaction are staggering, impacting vulnerable populations disproportionately. Extreme weather events like Hurricane Ian, wildfires in California, and severe droughts worldwide now happen with alarming frequency, wreaking havoc on economies. The destruction of infrastructure, agricultural losses, and the displacement of entire communities are becoming the new norm. The health consequences are also severe. Rising temperatures fuel disease spread, worsen our air pollution, and increase heat-related illnesses. These health crises strain healthcare systems, driving up costs and stretching resources thin. Developing countries and low-income communities are the hardest hit. With limited resources to adapt, climate change amplifies existing economic inequalities, often trapping these communities in a cycle of poverty. The cost of rebuilding infrastructure and addressing food shortages in these areas can be overwhelming. Business have a crucial role to play. Corporate social responsibility is no longer just a nice to have, it is essential. From investing in renewable energy to adopting sustainable practices, companies can help mitigate climate change while building resilience and long term value. Brands like Patagonia and Unilever prove that sustainable practices not only improve reputation, but can also drive profitability. The economics of climate change are undeniable. The cost of inaction far outweigh the investment needed to address this global challenge. Together, through immediate and bold steps, we can build a more sustainable and equitable future for generations to come.
Perfeito, obrigado, Júlio, pelo discurso. Vamos às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando pelo Cláudio.
Hello, Julio.
Hello.
Julio, tell me, in your opinion, how can the government, the companies, and also the citizens in general help poor communities when it comes to the impacts of climate crisis?
Well, to help these communities, it's really necessary to have some uh, have a lot of money involved because these people or they will have to leave the places that they live already. So they need to help these people either preventing this kind of uh, these kind of disasters, trying to predict where these kinds of things are going to happen, or try to help them to rebuild what they already have. So it needs a lot of effort and money from everyone that might have impacted in a bad way the world in general.
Okay, thanks for your answer.
Muito obrigado, Cláudio. Vamos à pergunta da jurada Márcia. Agora, a segunda pergunta para o Júlio.
Hi, Julio. Thank you very much for your speech. You mentioned something related to sustainability, to have a more sustainable society. In
Yes.
fact, what does that imply? What would be the first or the two most important actions that you believe we could start by being a more sustainable population in the world?
You mean like us, like Brazilians, or like the population in general?
The whole population. I'm
The whole
not talking about
population.
the government, the population in a general way.
Okay. Uh, like the population in general, they are not really concerned about the environment problems in general, but it's really important that we as a population try to think more about which product have less impact, has less bad impact in the world in general. So we try to buy more green products than the things that actually are polluting the rivers and the oceans and everything, the air as well. So we have to think about which products are best for us. And also, like, there are a lot of products uh, we buy that that are actually really bad for the world, but it's necessary to make a good research, for what is really going to be more impactful. And also, like, there are these labels saying if it's reusable or recycled, that can also help a lot when you're buying something. I think that's
Thank
it.
you, Julio.
Thanks.
Obrigado, Júlio. Obrigado aos jurados. E dando sequência às nossas apresentações de hoje, gostaria de chamar ao palco do Your Voice Fernanda Klein, nossa quarta candidata da categoria 7.
Olá.
Olá, Fernanda,
Hello.
tudo bem?
Can
Tá
you hear me?
ouvindo?
Sim.
Sim, ouvindo. Bom discurso para você. Boa sorte.
Muito obrigada. It is a great honor to take part in the 10th Your Voice Challenge from Cultura Inglesa. My name is Fernanda, and I will share with you some of my reflections about how agroforestry might help mitigate the climate crisis. Think globally, act locally. René Dubos. Can we do it? In fact, the Brazilian Institute of Environment and Renewable Natural Resources, IBAMA, shows that pesticide use in Brazil increased by 190% between the years 2000 and 2016 in order to control outbreaks of pests in monoculture systems. On the other hand, polyculture can reduce pesticide dependence by creating a more balanced ecosystem that reduces pest habitat. Polyculture can be implemented in the agroforestry, which is the junction of agriculture that involves growing and caring for trees. In addition, it considers the intersection among the species, such as the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash. While monoculture is the practice of growing only one crop on an area of farmland, polyculture is the practice of growing several different crops on this area. I would say that monoculture is like a one-note song and polyculture like a symphony orchestra. In fact, while The first depends entirely on a single crop. The last includes a variety of crops and plants that grow together. What about giving the three sisters a chance? Thank you.
Obrigado, Fernanda, pelo discurso. Vamos às
Obrigada a
perguntas,
você.
começando pela Márcia.
Hi, Fernanda.
Hello, Marcia.
Thank you for your speech, Fernanda.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You were insisting on the polyculture.
Yes.
Which is, according to your research, scientifically proven that it's better. In your opinion, or perhaps throughout your research, why don't we practice that? Why are we lingering so much? We're waiting that long to start practicing that.
Right. From my point of view, from my perspective, we don't put that into practice straight ahead because there are many not patron is not investment in like farmland for just one crop. Yes, instead of thinking globally, like seeing the human being, the man, as part of the environment. Yes, it's kind of sees the man apart. Yes, only, okay, in this area, let's cultivate soy. In this area, let's cultivate corn. Yes, and then a lot of pesticide is necessary. Yes, but of course, there will be more necessary investment, yes, in studies, yes, and also to use areas where more trees from different species already coexist. Yes, I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fernanda.
Thank you for your question.
Muito obrigado, Márcia, pela pergunta. Vamos à próxima pergunta com o Cláudio.
Hello, Fernanda.
Hello, Cláudio.
Thanks for your speech, Fernanda.
Thank you.
Some of the problems that we have in the implementation of new forms of agriculture, they are concerning financial issues, economic issues. In your opinion, what is the role of the government in fostering these new technologies and new forms of implementing the agriculture in our country?
Sorry, I just missed the main verb, I think.
Okay.
Can you please?
Okay, what is the role of the government in helping the implementation of these new forms of agriculture in our country?
All right, okay. If the government helps the smallholders, yes, instead of helping the big industries, I think that's the main point. I believe that supporting smallholders and reducing the bureaucracy and considering the community to work together and to learn that with a small piece of land, they can produce a lot and the deforestation will not be necessary as it goes in the present.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Obrigado aos jurados, obrigado, Fernanda, pelo seu discurso. E dando sequência aqui com a nossa próxima candidata, a quinta da categoria 7, gostaria de chamar Karen Marques para o palco do Your Voice. Karen, está ouvindo?
Sim, tudo certo?
Está ouvindo, tudo certo, estamos ouvindo você também. Então, boa sorte, bom discurso.
Obrigada. Hi guys, I'm Karen. And so, confronting climate crisis. Roles in climate emergency. We have to control what we get to continue with life as it is on Earth. We don't have any more time to waste, and we should have changed several habits many years ago. Human action since the Industrial Revolution, primarily burning of fossil fuels, that cause greenhouse gases to rapidly rise in the atmosphere. In response, offshore and ocean temperatures are rising. Increasing ocean heat content is contributing to sea level rise, melting of ocean terminating glaciers, ocean heat waves, and coral bleaching. Marine heat waves can stress and kill marine life and disrupt ecosystems. Coral bleaching matters because once these coral die, reefs rarely come back. With few corals surviving, they struggle to reproduce, and entire reef ecosystems deteriorate. Coral reefs are some of the most diverse ecosystems on the planet. Thousands of marine animals depend on coral reefs for survival. Coral reefs provide shelter, spawning grounds, and protection from predators. As reef ecosystems collapse, already at-risk species may face extinction. Another possible impact is on the economy. Billions of people rely on ocean fisheries for food and jobs. We can't just turn a blind eye on the rise of the global average temperatures. They are predicted to exceed 3 Celsius degrees this century, and catastrophic consequences are already setting in across the world with extreme variations in weather. Brazil has experienced several extreme weather and climate events in recent years. Fires in Brazil impact over 11 billion hectares this year, from January to August, according to the Mapiomas Fire Monitor. São Paulo and the Amazon have suffered the worst fire season in decades. While climate change cannot be stopped, it can be slowed. To avoid the worst consequences of climate change, we will need to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2050 or sooner. Net zero means that, on balance, no carbon is dumped into the atmosphere that is taken out. The most effective way to achieve net zero is to reduce emissions at the source. This can be done by improving energy efficiency, switching to renewable energy sources, and innovating processes to reduce waste. To achieve net zero emissions, we need a massive transformation in how we produce and consume electricity. Transitioning to energy sources that do not emit greenhouse gases, such as solar, wind, biofuels, can slow the pace of climate change. We also need a newer, a better transportation system. We need to stop deforestation, we need a climate-friendly agricultural system. Better solutions exist, yet current solutions are entirely the atmosphere, making it harder to keep the safe. That's it. Thank you.
Obrigado, Karen, pelo seu discurso. Agora vamos às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando com o Cláudio.
Hello, Karen.
Hi.
Karen, you brought some new perspectives concerning the climate crisis. You mentioned about the impact of the crisis on animals, on several aspects of our life. The thing is, what can we as individuals now do to avoid the impact of this climate crisis on the animals, and the species? And do you really think it's still possible to reverse this, to avoid this?
Acho que tivemos um problema de conexão com a Karen. Vamos aguardar um pouco só para ver se ela retoma. Se ela não retomar, nós daremos seguimento às outras apresentações e retornaremos em breve com as perguntas para ela. Aparentemente ela perdeu a conexão. Então vamos dar seguimento às próximas apresentações e daqui a pouco a gente retoma com as perguntas para a Karen, ok? Então, dando sequência às nossas apresentações, vamos ao nosso sexto candidato, que é o Antônio Amarante. Antônio, está por aí?
Eu.
Está por aí, ouvindo, estamos ouvindo você, está me ouvindo bem também?
Sim.
Ok, então, Antônio, boa sorte, bom discurso.
Obrigado. Good night, everyone. I'm Antônio Amarante from Cultura Inglesa Jundiaí, and today I'll be exploring the artificial intelligence as a mitigation strategy to confront the climate crisis. So first of all, we must stop problematizing technological advances and use them to our advantage. Who here has never thought that a street full of cars was the biggest problem for climate change, and that we should all use bicycles instead of that polluting vehicles, for example? With this mind, we take the current technology out of the picture, and I believe that we might use these advances for our own good. But what's an example that can help us to combat global heat, pollution, and many other things that are caused by us? An answer: artificial intelligence. We can use AIs for many good reasons and bad reasons too. But let's take a look at what this tool can make for us to mitigate the climate crisis. At the moment of the preparation, I thought, I'm going to dig by the root. I'm going to ask ChatGPT how it can help us. And it answered me. It said that AIs could help optimizing the use of energy, which is a very good way to reduce the consumption of energy of big companies and smaller too. That reduces the energy need. In addition, AIs can increase the efficiency and accuracy of renewable energy that tends to increase the production of clean energy. And more than this, AIs can be used together with satellites, for example, to monitor deforestation, ecosystems degradation, and more, as a way to prevent these actions. But despite all that, the human intervention is essential, and we must implement these artificial intelligence measures. So, summarizing the main points, artificial intelligence is not just a tool, it's a powerful ally in our fight against climate change. But it can only unlock its potential if we commit to using it responsibly and effectively. So, let's work together for a more sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Obrigado, Antônio, pelo discurso. Vamos às perguntas dos nossos jurados, começando pela Márcia.
Hi, Antonio.
Hello.
Yeah, you brought an interesting issue in your speech that was the support of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
My question to you is, well, artificial intelligence may bring some ideas, but artificial intelligence cannot put those ideas into practice, right? So how do you think we can make those suggestions come true if we consider the mindset of the population that sometimes are not really concerned about the solution and a sustainable world? So how do you see the combination of AI and citizens' mindset?
Okay. So I think, as I said in my speech, I think that the implementation of the AIs, it's something that have to. Oh, sorry, I forgot the word.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm going to try to explain another way. The we have to implement the AIs in the world. Okay, so I think we have to pass this idea for big companies or for the government, and then they can um, put them in practice with controlling this, because it can be something like with no head. We have to have something to control it, so the government or big companies can do it.
Okay, thank you, Antonio.
You're welcome.
Muito obrigado, Márcia, pela sua pergunta. Agora vamos à pergunta do jurado Cláudio.
Hello, Antonio.
Hello.
Thanks for your speech, Antonio. You brought a different aspect of our discussion concerning the climate crisis because it talks about AI. Okay. During your speech, you mentioned something about the ethical and responsible use of the AI. Okay. Can you please tell us a little bit more about it? How can this AI be used in an ethical and responsible way to solve the problem of the climate change?
Okay, so the artificial intelligence is the future, right? So, in one moment we have to use it to solve some problems that are going to appear, and we can use it in the climate change problems, the climate crisis. Uh, Sorry, can you repeat your main point of the question?
Sure, for sure. You talked about using AI to solve the problem of the climate crisis. in an ethical and responsible way. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Okay.
Being ethical and responsible in the use of AI.
Okay. So we have to have in mind that is not just AI is not a toy, for example. AI is something serious that can really help us to solve this problem. And you have to use it like we use renewable energy, for example. Renewable energy, that's a physical thing, and that is a physical thing, and AI, it's only a digital thing, right? So we have to have this in mind. And more than this, the decisions, it's made by us human beings. So we have to take this decision.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer.
You're welcome.
Muito obrigado, Antônio. Obrigado aos jurados pelas perguntas. E agora, antes de prosseguirmos com as próximas apresentações, gostaria de chamar novamente a Karen aqui para o palco do Your Voice. Karen, está me ouvindo agora?
Estou te ouvindo, obrigada.
Está ouvindo? Estou ouvindo você também. Gostaria de chamar o jurado Cláudio novamente para que ele repita a pergunta para a Karen para a gente prosseguir com as demais.
Okay, Karen, welcome back. Karen, thank you for your speech. During your speech, you talked about some of the problems that the crisis can cause, especially to the animals and nature itself. My question was, do you think it's still possible to reverse these impacts we're having on nature?
So thank you for your question. Unfortunately, I don't think it's possible to reverse 100%. You have like thousands, maybe billions of species. They're already face extinction. They are not with us anymore. I think we could reduce the impact nowadays, not that we could reverse. Unfortunately, I don't think that's possible anymore. Of course, we could, maybe the whole community and everyone could think a little bit more about their decisions and the consequences of the acts. But to reverse, I think it's impossible. Unfortunately, I think it's too late. We have been warning from the greenhouses and the extinctions for so many years, and unfortunately, we are just too late.
Okay, thank you.
Obrigado, Cláudio. Vamos então à pergunta da Márcia, segunda pergunta para a Karen. Vamos lá.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Well, good to have you back.
Thank you.
There are so many things you mentioned, and they are huge. They have a huge impact. For instance, the coral reefs, impossible to reverse, right? But in fact, there are other things we can reverse, at least for a while. My question to you is sustainability something opposite to economy? Apparently, economy plays a great role pushing this non-sustainable attitude. My question is, how do you view those two together? Do you think we need to change something? Do you think they can coexist?
I think we definitely need to change something. It's really clear that we need to change. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if they coexist. I think the big industry that already exists for so many years to change and change several habits and change almost 100% the way they produce and the way they gain money. I think it's really hard, and because who is in the power, who has the power to change something? I'm not sure if they actually care about what is happening nowadays. So if we to change something, I think everyone will have to change and to think outside the box and maybe not thinking about themselves and not thinking about the money. And so I think it's really hard to coexist nowadays. I have this I hope that maybe in the future, these new generations that are coming will be able to change things. I hope, right? Hopefully, we can coexist, everyone.
Thank you very much, Karin.
Obrigado, Márcia. Obrigado, Karen, pelas respostas. Agora vamos à sequência, nossa sétima candidata da categoria 7. Por favor, ao palco do Your Voice, Stephanie Aline dos Santos. Stephanie, está ouvindo?
Hi, yes, you're hearing me?
Sim, estou ouvindo bem também. Stephanie, quando quiser, fique à vontade. Pode começar o seu discurso. Boa sorte.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Aline, and we know that climate crisis is one of the most pressing issues of our time. This is not just a challenge for our generation, but a defining moment in human history. The IPCC report makes it clear that only by drastically reducing the use of greenhouse gases can we avoid a climate crisis and prevent a disastrous future of intense storms and extreme heat waves. In Disney's WALL-E, we see a world devastated by waste, where humanity has fled the consequences of its own excess. It's a hunting vision, but it doesn't have to be our reality. We have the tools and the knowledge to change that. Starting with renewable energy. Today, wind and solar power are not just available, but also cost competitive. In 2023, solar energy became the cheaper source of electricity in many parts of the world, with costs dropping by 89% over the last decade. The data is undeniable. If we don't act now, we risk catastrophic consequences. The United Nations warns that we have less than a decade to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. This isn't just about the environment, it's about our survival. We will wait until our world resembles the desolate landscape of WALL-E, or we will take actions today to build our sustainable future. As a former President Barack Obama said, we are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change, and the last generation who can do something about it. Let's choose to be the generation that acts before it's too late. Thank you.
Obrigado, Stephanie, pelo discurso. Vamos agora às perguntas, começando com o jurado Cláudio.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hello.
Thank you for your speech, Stephanie. As one of the solutions for the climate crisis, you mentioned the use of renewable energy, right? You mentioned solar energy. The thing is, in your opinion, why do you think it's so hard to implement these systems of renewable energy, to reduce the use of fossil fuels? Why is it so hard to achieve that?
I think in general, we as humans, we have difficulty to deal with changes. And with talking about industries, government, it's more easy to them to deal with fossil fuel. But when we talk about renewable energy, solar energy, it's a big change to them economically too. So it's more easy to them to deal with fossil fuels, uh, talking about money. So I think nowadays we need to focus on the change for our, like I said, our survival, because I think we focus more in money to our health, you know. So I think the change that we need to do is more with about the fossil fuels to renewable energy is more about the government and the industries. We need to pressure them to know that this is not the time to think about the money, but our survival.
Okay, thank you.
Obrigado, Cláudio. Vamos agora à pergunta da nossa segunda jurada, Márcia.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for
Hi.
your speech. There was a sentence you mentioned that says, we have the tools and we have the knowledge. So apparently this would be enough to change. But you have just answered Claudia's question. The problem is related to money, right? So what would be the role of education to change this? There is the knowledge, there are the tools, but money seems to be more appealing. Can education do something about that?
Of course. I mean, I think the one of the best things that humanity has nowadays is knowledge, because we are the kind of being that deals with any type of environment. We live in extreme areas that has extremes, like in hot places and really extreme cold places, because we know how to deal with it. We have the knowledge to deal with these places. But when it comes to climate change, I think it's the same thing. We need to have our awareness to how to deal with this new area, and with this, I think we as a citizens, we need to press this government, these industries to know that we don't want the money, we want to survive, because we need to put in our mind first that uh, the best bag, the best shoes is not important right now. Important right now. The importance is to take care of Amazonia, for example. So yeah, I think that is the first us to knowledge, be aware, and then we press the government, the industries to take actions to face this issue.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Muito obrigado, Stephanie, pelo discurso, os jurados pelas perguntas. E agora vamos ao nosso último candidato da categoria 7, Lucas Pense Gomes. Lucas, está por aí? Lucas não entrou ainda na sala aqui, aparentemente ele não chegou. Então, daremos sequência ao nosso evento de hoje, ok? Então, bom, finalizamos por aqui a categoria 7, com todos os discursos aqui em altíssimo nível, assim como na categoria 4. Então, os jurados vão ter aí um longo trabalho pela frente. E agora aproveito para liberá-los para a deliberação, tá? E para definir quem que vai para a final. Então, são 3 candidatos que vão para a final da categoria 4 e 3 que irão aqui da categoria 7, tá? Então, enquanto isso, eles vão deliberando, eu vou repassando algumas informações com vocês aqui sobre a competição como um todo, tá? Então, como eu disse para vocês, hoje serão anunciados 3 participantes por categoria que seguirão para a final, que será realizada no sábado, dia 23 de novembro, no próximo mês. Esses 3 participantes se juntarão aos 3 participantes selecionados na outra semifinal e somarão 6 participantes por categoria na grande final. Tudo vai acontecer lá no dia 23, tudo no mesmo dia. Ao término da sessão, teremos aquela oportunidade de uma devolutiva, né, aos participantes que forem selecionados para a grande final. Então, quem quiser receber essa devolutiva precisa ficar aqui com a gente até o anúncio final dos resultados, ok? Quem não quiser receber a devolutiva não tem problema, mas ela será ofertada somente hoje, ao término da sessão. Então, iremos considerar que quem não ficar aqui optou por não recebê-la. Todas as fases do concurso são online e você poderá sempre acompanhar por aqui, da mesma forma que está acontecendo hoje na transmissão via YouTube. Todos os candidatos e candidatas que participaram do evento receberão certificado de participação. Os certificados serão enviados por e-mail para vocês, no mesmo e-mail pelo qual já temos nos comunicado até então. Às vezes acontece do nosso e-mail ir para o lixo eletrônico, ou de alguma outra forma acontecer algum problema no envio. Então, se isso acontecer e vocês não receberem o certificado de participação até o dia 10 de novembro, peço para que vocês entrem em contato com a unidade que vocês estudam ou através do nosso e-mail que consta no site para que a gente possa providenciar o certificado de vocês, ok? Bom, vale lembrar também dos super prêmios que teremos nessa edição. né, na nossa grande final. Então, além de toda a bagagem cultural e linguística que os alunos adquirem ao longo da competição, no dia 23 do 11 serão definidos os primeiros e segundos colocados de cada uma das categorias. E cada um, o primeiro lugar ganha um vale-presente de R$ 1.000 e o segundo lugar ganha um vale-presente de R$ 500. Então já vai passar o final do ano aí com dinheiro no bolso. E, bom, nossos jurados acabaram de ir para a deliberação, né? Como eu falei para vocês, a decisão não vai ser fácil. Então, enquanto eles vão fazendo a deliberação, vamos tomar uma água e fazer um rápido intervalo. Então, não precisam nem sair do YouTube, pode deixar tudo aberto aí, que por volta de 10, 15 minutos a gente volta com o resultado final, ok? Então, peço para que vocês já deixem tudo ligado aqui e a gente volta com os resultados daqui a pouquinho. Então, até daqui a pouco, pessoal. Tchau, tchau. E voltamos com a transmissão e voltamos agora com o momento mais aguardado da noite, que é o momento de anunciar quem serão os finalistas do Your Voice, que estarão com a gente na sala virtual do dia 23 de novembro, concorrendo aos prêmios incríveis que eu mencionei. Mas quem vai falar o resultado não sou eu. Gostaria de chamar aqui ao palco do Your Voice os nossos jurados, começando pelo Cláudio, para anunciar os vencedores. Cláudio, é com você.
Obrigado, João. Gente, coube, né, a mim o prazer de dar a boa notícia da noite para vocês, mas antes eu quero dar uma palavrinha, tá? Em primeiro lugar, agradecer a Cultura Inglesa pelo convite, e também dizer que eu fiquei muito feliz de participar desse evento, né, esse concurso maravilhoso que já acontece há tanto tempo e cada ano fica melhor ainda, né? E aí eu tenho que dar os parabéns também às famílias que estão aqui com a gente, né, que permitiram que os seus filhos participassem, confiaram no trabalho que a gente vem realizando através do Your Voice. E, principalmente, parabenizar a todos que tiveram a braveza, a coragem de participar do concurso, né? A gente sabe que isso envolve noites mal dormidas, muito esforço, muito trabalho, muito treino, muito frio na barriga. E dizer para vocês que, independente do resultado que eu vou dar aqui, todo mundo é muito vencedor por ter chegado onde chegou, tá? Pensem de tantas pessoas que se inscreveram, vocês chegaram até aqui. Isso não é pouca coisa, tá bom? Então, parabéns a todos pelos discursos que nós vimos aqui, pela performance de vocês, mas eu tenho que trazer os nossos 3 finalistas, né, o pessoal que chegou lá na noite de hoje. E aí, eu vou dizer para vocês que quem já está com vaga garantida na final do Your Voice desse ano, da categoria 4, é a Maria Antonelli, a Louisa Garcia e o Thiago Pessoa. Pessoal, meus parabéns, né? E mais uma vez, muito obrigado a todos.
Pois é, né, Cláudio? É uma questão incrível ver toda essa performance de vocês. Eu queria também estender um agradecimento, não só às famílias, a todo o esforço de vocês de fazer esse discurso, mas também a todos os professores que incentivaram vocês a ter coragem de vir. É uma questão que a gente às vezes acha que isso não é para mim, mas olha, vocês fizeram uma performance incrível. Todos já são vitoriosos mesmo. É inacreditável como vocês defenderam um tema que é tão pujante agora em nossa situação atual, né? A questão da crise climática. E vocês defenderam seus pontos muito bem. E, obviamente, a gente tem que escolher. São 3 finalistas, não poderiam ser todos, mas todos estão de parabéns porque chegaram até aqui. Eu vou anunciar agora os 3 finalistas que já estão com sua vaga especial para final, para defender seus pontos, tá bom? Então, vamos lá, que rufem os tambores. Ordem aleatória, não tem lugar, é ordem aleatória. Nós temos Hanna Cristina, Fernanda Klein e Karen Fernanda. Parabéns a todos por esse brilhante discurso que cada um apresentou e a esses vencedores. Passando a palavra agora para o João.
Muito obrigado, Márcia, Cláudio, pelo anúncio dos vencedores. Gostaria de parabenizar a todos que participaram do evento, né, dessa iniciativa da cultura inglesa. Comunicação é uma habilidade tão importante hoje em dia, né, e ver pessoas interessadas em melhorar e a se desafiar com isso é algo muito bom. Então, parabéns a todos, às famílias também que estão, com certeza, com muito orgulho, né, aos amigos também que estão apoiando, todo mundo no chat, muito feliz por todos vocês, parabéns a todos pela participação. E agora, para finalizar, né, só alguns avisos finais, né? Então, os candidatos das categorias 4 e 7 que quiserem receber o feedback deverão acessar agora, neste momento, aquele link da sala do Google Meet, onde vocês entraram no começo e foi feito o sorteio. E amanhã tem mais semifinal, tá? Não acabou por aqui. Amanhã, às 19 horas, teremos mais discursos para acompanhar por aqui, né? Com as apresentações das categorias 5 e 6. E os links de acesso estão lá no nosso site do Your Voice, que é o yourvoice.culturainglesa.com.br. Então, nos vemos na próxima edição, nos vemos na próxima semifinal. Um grande abraço a todos e até a próxima. Valeu!